Good evening, everyone, and welcome. If you would please stand and join me in the pledge. Okay, I'd like to have a moment of silence for the following individuals. Eileen Cash, a graduate of the North Syracuse Central School District, and Carmen Rosselli, a graduate of the North Syracuse Central School District. Thank you. We have three presentations this evening. Our first one is the ENL and Seal of Biliteracy presentation. So welcome if you'd like to come up. Welcome.
Good evening. My name is Ariana Rosario. I'm the former TOSA for the L department, and I am currently one of the associate principal at Smith Road Elementary. So the English as a New Language program is in 7 out of our 9 schools currently. We have over 32 different languages spoken and currently 280 students receiving ENL services, which is about roughly the same as the 24-25 school year. There have been some big changes in the ENL department this year, and I really want to focus on the profile of the student. So primarily with the L department, when kindergarten students were coming in, they were automatically qualifying if they had a language difference. However, I do want to highlight our UPK program because 46 students attended UPK as well as had a language difference, and only 5 of those students qualified for L services. So I really want to highlight that that's a direct result of that early intervention, that focus on early literacy, and that showing that our UPK program is doing a lot of really great things for all learners. So that's a really exciting accomplishment. We did, however, see a rise in our junior high and high school students. Out of all of our new entrants this past year, 26% of those were above 8th grade, which it was, again, really rare because traditionally we had seen our kindergarten students kind of come up and then fall off of the L services. So that created some struggles, and there was some need for differentiated programming. And we also are seeing a rise in students with their interrupted formal education, meaning they're coming to us and then maybe they skipped 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. We're placing them. And so there's a little bit of disparage where they are. However, we are supporting them with our new MTSS process, the SST teams, and now that most of our ELS teachers are letters trained, they're getting the proper support where they need to. We had a lot of really awesome celebrations. I really want to highlight the professional development that was done this summer from Dr. Valentina Gonzalez. Dr. Valentina Gonzalez is the guru of all things ENL. She is well known across the country. She's written multiple books and collaborated with multiple partners. She was an educator in Texas and an English language learner herself. She came and taught how to create culturally and linguistically appropriate instruction in the Tier 1 setting, which our teachers were really eager to have and to learn. And again, this is really supportive of our MTSS process and our SST teams. And what we were finding was because of this, we're not referring all of our Ls to special education programs because teachers had the appropriate resources, and we're learning how to appropriately differentiate in the classroom. So I'm hopeful with our new director of ENL and the new ENL TOSA that work will continue on, and we continue to see this decrease of over-identifying our students as students. We also had our first ENL graduation this year, which was very exciting. So for this New York State, you have to reach the commanding level in order to graduate from ENL services. And this is an additional test that students have to take and can be rather cumbersome and difficult. And we had 30 students do that this year. And again, I want to attest that to our incredible tier 1 that we finally have rolling appropriately and appropriate culturally and linguistic tier 1 instruction. We also had our Festival of Nations this year, which I think the most exciting part of that was that we had student alumni come back. We had multiple alumni come back and want to be a part of the celebration, and they really wanted to support all of their friends. And we were also able to celebrate our Seal of Biliteracy students then. So switching gears a little bit to Seal of Biliteracy. So I'm incredibly proud of this program, and I think it represents an excellent model to what the Portrait of the Graduate and New York Inspires can be. If we take a look at the 6 characteristics, of the Portrait of the Graduate, it really encompasses everything that the Seal of Biliteracy process is. So these students have to do an independent research study that is after school, not really part of their in-class curricula. So, and it's completely student driven. Students are coming up with their own presentations, everything from economics to food to beauty standards to mental health in different countries, and everything is done in multiple languages. And what was incredibly heartwarming and exciting about this is, again, it is completely student driven and students are coming out the other side. And we had 30 students who were able to receive the seal this year. And I am incredibly proud to say that this is the first year that we had one student do it in 5 different languages. And he is setting the record for our area, which is absolutely incredible. And he's actually going on to study in Brussels this year, and we'll be celebrating him on Thursday along with the rest of the 30 students who were able to do this. We also had, this is the first year that I've seen, we've had a seal of biliteracy, seal of triliteracy. So we had a student do it in her home language of Vietnamese, French, and English. We had a student do it in her home language of Uzbek, Russian, Spanish, and English as well as the other languages represented on the screen. So Arabic, Russian, Spanish, Ukrainian. So it was a small but really diverse group of students who really persevered and pushed through. And again, I think this program represents a beautiful model for what the Portrait of the Graduate can look like in our district, because students really have to be creative. They have to be critical thinkers by creating a culminating project at the very end. So the whole year they're researching, they're working on their project, and then they go and present to a panel of judges at BOCES who they don't know. So they really work hard. Again, it's all student independent and driven, and we had 30 incredible students come out. Incredible. Any questions?
One question. When you said they were ENL grads, is that as seniors or can you graduate from any level?
Yeah, that's a great question. You can graduate at any level. So it's based on when you test out. So at our first graders, we had first grade grads, which was really exciting to see.
I don't know if this pertains to you, but Mr. London is not doing a presentation this year. You know, I'm on the school board for OCM BOCES, and we have this wonderful program, Puerto Rican, whatever, and they were at your Festival of Nations. I'm very disappointed that we only have one student that is in this program. When I sit there as a North Syracuse school board member and see Beeville, Liverpool, Nottingham, and other school districts have more students, I am very disappointed. I have brought this up for 2 years now here. I'm hoping, I don't know, is this part of your program? Or
This was, and the interest unfortunately just wasn't there. We did present it to our seniors. I think there's probably better ways that we can go about making sure that everybody knows what the program is and what it pertains to. I think by the time we rolled it out this year, it was a little too late with
how many
everything
students
else.
approximately?
Just one student.
No, but how many students approximately was this presented to?
Oh, the high school, the entire high school. It was given the information.
I'm going to follow up on this because I've waited.
Absolutely, and it's a
Like
really
it so
important
much,
program.
and it's a great program.
is a
And when
great
I saw our
program.
people were here that night,
Yeah,
and only one of our students, that's very disappointing.
yeah.
Very disappointing. Thank you.
No question. And I just want to comment on Ariana. I want to thank you for your leadership and guidance in creating these programs. These things are not easy to do. And, you rose to the challenge, brought us forward, and now you're able to hand it off to someone else. So I appreciate all of your effort on behalf of all of us. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, next up, we have our presentation on the Gambia Educational Summit. So welcome. How are you?
So hi, I'm Amy Heisick. I'm Eric. And we were, I want to thank Dr. Ward and the rest of the district for allowing us to miss some school right in the middle of April to attend the Educational Summit. This is the third year that I have been able to participate this Educational Summit and in the humanitarian work in the Gambia. But this was Erica's first time. One part was the very first year that I was able to go. Erica was my student teacher. And started in the end of January, and I went, "Hey, great, nice to meet you. You have 2.5 weeks to get up to speed, and then I'm leaving you for a week and going to Africa." And she went, "Oh, okay, okay." And now she is a colleague, and I was able to full circle moment, sort of a nice little mom. But there you go. So the Gambia, if you don't know, I'll give you a quick little rundown of the country itself. It is the smallest country in Africa. It's surrounded on 3 sides by Senegal, and it is surrounding the Gambia River. The Gambia is actually the correct name. It isn't Gambia. They actually did that on purpose to distinguish it from Zambia, to make from the river itself. So it's the country, not. But it's only about 4,400 square miles. That's the whole country. At its widest point, it's about 50 miles, top to bottom. And out of that 4,400 miles, 500 square miles of that is the river. So teeny tiny country, is the smallest country. There's only a little bit less than 2.5 million people, is the entire country. Of that 2.5 million people, however, 70% of them are under the poverty line. The average median income for households or for adults is about $770 US for an annual salary. Same thing for teachers. That's about what teachers make, is about $700 something per year, right? So that's a big deal. As far as why we did this, if you go to the next. Oh, do I have a thing? I have a clicker. I have the power. It's not on. It does work. That one. Okay. The reason that we went is that Al Hassan Suso, who is the man in the blue shirt with the gray sport coat right in the center, giant smile. Al Hassan is the 2019 New York State Teacher of the Year. And so is a colleague. He and his wife, Bintu, is also a Gambian immigrant, started the NAMI Foundation in honor of his grandmother, who was a teacher. Part of their reason in doing this is that with the recognition that he received and all of the opportunities that were given to him, program, he was also a Global Teacher Prize finalist. To be able to uplift teaching and teachers and education in the Gambia. Only about 30% of the children in the country actually attend school. Around, as far as numeracy skills and being able to add and subtract and use numbers, 6 to 9%. 11% have literacy skills or attract good teachers to be. So this was a picture of our American delegation. Bintu is is Alisan's wife. She's the one in the black dress with the red hijab right in the center. But we were 7 US teachers. Again, this is the 3rd year that they have done prize and recognition. This is a lot of Bintu's family, some locals who were there and have participated in interact with teachers to build messages from them on a weekly basis. Checking in, how are things? How's school? How are your students?
So day one, we were not super jet lagged, but jet lagged enough, to, we had the opportunity to go to, you said about,
School that's maybe half.
but these guys have taken care of them, and as you can see. But they said, yeah, it does.
Now, it says
Yeah.
follow the advice of the guide, and so
Yeah.
the guide was there and told us you can.
The picture
Wait,
that
wait till you see the next one.
I was gonna say, it's a good thing it's
Wait till you see this
the
one.
picture that I took. Yeah.
We
The
did that too.
kids were very invested in our journeys, and I took a little bit of time to go over pictures with them because they were like, "What'd you do? What'd you see?"
This is not AI.
Yeah.
They also would not let me pet them.
Yeah. So, this,
No.
yeah,
Oh,
it's
wait,
fine.
So I'll show you later. There's a wildlife park, where they have a pride of lions that are all.
It looked like
But-
bodyguards. They
Yeah.
like were,
And
more
it's
protective of
very
lions.
protected. But the guy who actually raised them and bought about 7.5 feet tall. Not even joking.
we were safe.
Jackie can attest to it. Yes, he was a very, very tall, but he was the one who raised them and he's.
Yeah, so we got to, as biology teachers, it was like, okay, marked that off my bucket list. But not only all the other amazing opportunities, but this was just kind of a plus, and to learn how they ate donkeys a week. So that was super cool, and to bring that information back to the classroom, the kids were just blown away.
How all of the critters.
Yep.
And they have giraffes and then.
Yeah, they had green velvet monkeys, they had colobus monkeys. We got to see baby zebra, my personal favorite. Elan. Then water buffalo, and the guide that was taking us around actually told us that the water buffalo were the most aggressive out of all their herbivores that they had. So that was super interesting. They are very
can't
big.
See it from the. That was all of the fun biology pieces of things. So Al Hassan was going to be interviewed on a radio program about teachers and the plight of teachers and education and why this initiative is, why education is so important. And he invited me as a ride along. So this is one radio program in the nation. This is what everybody listens to on their morning commute on the way to work. Part of the delegation, but this is really what I am very most proud of. This was a 2-year project that was sponsored by our teachers union and from our union, and from our human rights club. Our students went. So this is a baby center at the University of the Gambia, and it is first and only of its kind. And if we really want to talk about prioritizing education and making accessible, not only here, but across the globe, this is a literal life-changing event for all of the women who are students at this university who have babies. Don't have to miss class because they're nursing mothers. Don't have to drop out of school because they have children. There is now a safe, air-conditioned, climate-controlled, staffed with professional nannies, space for them to be able to drop their babies off in a place where they will be cared and they can still attend school. They can college education, life and their families' lives and the trajectory of their nation because of something that
Education, especially.
half-hour ceremony
Yeah.
proceeding. Incredibly. That they
Professors,
had this.
everybody was just. Much like moving.
That was what I was most proud of. That was the day that we were able to do NAMI Foundation, so. It is, that's the windows for where the room is. Toddlers running for the slide. But then right before the ceremony, the next.
After we visited the welcoming and I would say the most everything they could.
Out of necessarily. But that is Pinta Island. That's the fort. Happened when slaves were brought. And the fun part of being able to sell. Prize ceremony was very clock. We were all taking back around 1 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
us. Yeah, us.
Yeah.
Um,
And they were
one-
still partying.
They were.
They
yeah,
were still going.
It was a thing. So so that was really the events of our week, and then we left the next day. But there is continuing. The NSCA sent me haggling for things and a couple of different places because the price was not good enough and we couldn't talk them down enough. Right. Came that day with her mother to sign. And she got a bicycle so that she could stay in school. And awkward that's it, having enough chalk, not having all the things that they can for their such commonality when we the work. So
Definitely a life change. I can, we have. I can't put into words. It's
Thank you. Next, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Ward for our True North presentation.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming out this evening to our Board of Education meeting. I'm going to talk tonight about our True North Plan. And this plan for us is a clear direction for our stronger future. Before we get to the plan, though, we want to take a moment just to thank people for getting out and vote this year. It was a particularly difficult year for us with our budget vote, especially being a little over our normal ask, and we were able to do that. So thank you all for getting out and voting. And thank you, Bridget, for helping out with that. We also want to just take a moment back to our committee. This is our utilization committee. So we're going to talk a little bit about the utilization committee and their job over time. But the first question that we gave the utilization committee was that question there. So I'll give you a moment to read that. And we started out with 26 people in our district, and we had teachers, parents, students, administrators. I believe we lost one along the way. Don't worry, she's fine. But we ended up with 25 people on our committee. So we want to thank them for their work. So this is the timeline that the utilization committee happened over time, just as a reminder for everyone. So we started, actually we started before the May of 25, but we started to seek committee members back in the May of 25. And you can see the different sites and tours and things like that as far as our utilization committee did. And then it really culminated with our board presentation that happened in January from the leadership team of the utilization committee. So since then, we've had a couple of different events in our district. And really, we knew that we were going to get this report. By the way, it was 176 pages. So it took us a little time to figure that out. And we knew it was going to take a little bit of time. So really, from January until now, this is really the first time we're publicly speaking about it. But there's been a lot of work behind the scenes to get to where we are today. So the committee recommendation that came to our Board of Education looked exactly like this. This is actually a page out of the utilization study out of the 176 pages. You can see one of the recommendations was Cicero North Syracuse High School becoming grades 9 through 12, our North Syracuse Junior High becoming grades 7 and 8, our middle schools becoming 4 through 6, our elementary schools K through 3. District offices can remain here or actually go to next door, the junior high school. And the committee really thought this through because it does create some flexibility in our planning for the future. So that was one of the recommendations that we had spoke about. So you'll see that little graphic over there on the right-hand side of the screen. So from March to June, we've had, I've been to every staff meeting with the exception of 3. Those 3 staff meetings will be over the next 2 days. We just couldn't schedule that in before the June 1st board meeting here. We did a thought exchange with students for input. We've had a community forum. We had an open board workshop where the community could attend. We had ongoing discussions and planning, and these are really important people when you think about long-term planning, and that is our fiscal advisors, our architects, our facilities department. All of those people are major players in long-range planning. And then we also have the review of our current and future construction needs, which for those of you who might not remember, we had our building condition survey, which is required by New York State every 5 years, and we just completed that. So it was good timing for us to take a look at the needs of the buildings and things like that in our district. And then we are still continuing to project a scope of development for a capital project vote. We are trying to meet a December capital project vote this fall. I'm going to talk about a couple of those things that you'll see in that capital project vote here in the presentation. So student voice, we think that student voice is imperative. And Jill, if you just click that, please.
It's a great step forward, in my opinion. I think it's going to finally align the curriculum. So between the
Andrew was on our committee.
One offered at the junior high, one offered at the high school. I think this is an opportunity that'll kind of align them. That's what I'm most excited about. The committee was like a great opportunity for me to share my voice. And they took in student perspective, parent perspective, teachers. So it was just a great opportunity. The CTEs that are offered at school, when I was at the junior high, I didn't necessarily know about these certain CTEs, like certain classes that had to be taken. I think with these different grade levels being shifted, I think that'll kind of help the CTEs and maybe more people accomplishing those.
I like that you going into ninth grade, you're allowed to take more diverse and different classes than you would be able to when you're at the junior high. 'Cause you'll have more, well, different and more educated teachers that can teach you more in different topics than you would be able to. I also really like that sports will be together, so you can, seventh graders don't have to stress about getting the other buildings in order to do a sport. People are excited. I think they're happy that we can go up, like when you're considered high schoolers, that you can actually be in the high school building. And yeah, they're just excited about the new opportunities that will be there for when we do get to the high school. But yeah, everyone's very excited about it in high school.
But also how many opportunities they're going to have with like different grades being able to interact with each other. And I personally think the ages will work better and different classes people would do. I would be excited for like the people I would be with, definitely. And like, I don't know, just having definitely the opportunities part. And like if I'm with a sport, I'll be with those people because of the grades. And I don't know, just the different choices I would be able to make. Because like being able to have that power of the choices you can make is definitely exciting. Like waiting to be able to choose what sport you want to do and like be involved with the school is really exciting.
So it's like definitely probably preparing you for your future earlier. Like I've heard a saying, the earlier the start, the more practice and like the better you get. I think it would be like that. Like if you start doing, let's just say you want to be a professional swimmer. If you start and if that's an elective or something, and you start that earlier, you'll be better than if you start in 10th grade because you'll have more of the experience.
Probably more opportunity for the ninth graders opposed to the opportunities that they would get at the junior high. Such as the STEM, science, if you're interested in that and you don't have there's not as much accommodation at the junior high as there will be. Just that it will be a lot of students in one building, but like we've just talked about, we will accommodate that and there is enough room. So that was one of the biggest vibes I got from it. But yeah, being someone that is the first to do something, being the pioneer of something is super cool, and you'll be able to be the first to experience it, so you can lead a path for the students who are younger than you.
I just think there'll like be more like chances to do stuff in the high school than the junior high. Yeah, I think it will be good for like the ninth grade to go up. Got a bigger age range for the high school, so like older like people I can like talk to them or something.
I think it will be easier for ninth grade to go to the high school and seventh grade to go to the junior high, because for seventh grade modified students, it will be easier just stay at the junior high for practice. And same thing for ninth grade as a freshman. If you're in varsity, it'll be easier to stay at the high school for practice as well. And I think it'll be like more engaging with students for more clubs and more activities and more stuff like that. It's gonna open up like a lot of opportunities for not just me, but everyone else going to the high school. Cause like, who knows, you might have friends in higher grades. It lets you like stay in the same environment for more than 3 years.
Okay, so some of those students were part of the utilization study. Some of those students, and mainly the seventh graders, we wanted to highlight, because if they're indeed going ninth grade to CNS High School, they would be the first grade impacted from seventh grade going up to ninth grade. But So some of the pieces that were talked about with our students was, they had good questions when we sat down with them. And one of those questions was, are we all going to fit? Are we all going to fit if we have 4 grade levels at the high school? And the answer was really buried in the utilization study report. But if you took a look at that particular page, back in 22-23, so we've had declining enrollment. We've been declined for around 1,500 students in the last 10 years as a school district. And when that crossed in 22-23, on paper anyway, the 9th grade would have fit at CNS High School. That's on paper. But that's just an idea of how many students we've lost and why there is room. But we're also going to make some choices moving forward about making additional spaces, and we're going to talk about that. So our journey starts by naming our path. So this is our True North plan. The utilization study has done its work, and now it's time to put that plan into action. So you will hear a lot about our True North plan. Our True North plan will be student-centered. It's financially disciplined. So one of the things that we started the utilization committee really with a question of, we have to move NSEEP. It's been, for those of you who have been around here a long time, this is what people tell me, but it's probably been talked about for 20 years that we've had to move NSCEP out of their building, and that's where it started. And as we work through this process over the last 9 months, there are other things that have come up that we want to highlight as far as benefits go. And one of those benefits is staying financially or fiscally disciplined. So that is, we believe, we know that there are certain savings in our district, and we want to make sure that we are able to continue the programming and things that we need for our kids, and aligning middle schools, aligning elementary certified teachers in the same building, and then secondary teachers in the same buildings. That really does create a financially disciplined approach to moving forward. So we're going to remain transparent to the community. So this is one meeting of several updates that will happen over time for us, and flexible. So the plan does remain flexible. One of the things that people have asked already too is, yes, that might be true that we've lost 1,500 students in 10 years, but what about Micron and the growth that that's going to cause for our school district? And that's something that we take into consideration, and that's why it's nice that the utilization committee did such a nice job with creating some off-ramps along the way. So for example, this particular building, not that we're going to do that, but if there was ever a need, this particular building could actually become back to an elementary school, for example. So there are things, that flexibility that are built into the plan, that if things dramatically change because of Micron, we're able to pivot as a school district pretty easily. Oops. So what's next? So we're going to talk a lot about a Bailiff infrastructure and learning focused renovations. So again, we're getting toward that last bullet, continuing to prepare for a potential December referendum. That's our goal. Okay. We've been working on that very hard, and we're ready to bring it to our facilities committee and have some ideas around that. So that's probably the next step as a school district that we need to do, is we've done some work and now we need to bring it to our facilities committee to take a look at. So that's something that is important. Maximize aid available for building aid. This is hugely important for us. We want to stretch our dollar as much as we can. And it gets a little complicated when you start thinking of building aid and when you can do renovations and things like that. So that's something that we're well aware of. And it's the reason why we're working so closely with our fiscal advisors on those things. Again, it does maintain flexibility in the project and phasing. That's a key for our December vote, is remaining flexible And then coordinated construction planning with a grade level transition. So you heard me talk about different grade level configurations this evening, and sometimes we can line up that work, that construction work, to happen where it's convenient for our school district. So that's something that we're going to continue to look at. So the one piece we know that we need to do a better job for our students is really renovating our STEM spaces. That's something that our school district really has just, it's time for us to do that. So one of the key components you're going to see in that December referendum is our STEM spaces being reconfigured and redone. So what you'll see here, this is our high school, okay? And right now, our high school, the bus drives underneath this area, right, and drops students off right there. And so this would become our STEM area, and we would reconfigure the bus loop into the building. One of the things that that I love about our school district is when I'm at our athletic complex, it's amazing. When you're back behind the CNS, it's amazing. We're adding things to the back of CNS too. The wonderful pool that we're putting in, the fly tower that's lit up at night that says CNS, like all of that looks amazing. But when you pull into our high school, what do you see right now? You see a big brick building with no windows. That's what you see. And so we want to make sure, we want to showcase the front of the building as well as the back of the building. And we think that the STEM spaces is really the way to do that for our school district. So that is one piece. The other, so those are all areas that we would put maybe in the December referendum. So here's a conceptualization. So again, I just talked about driving into our CNS high school. You see the big brick building. It's beautiful in the back. You see the big brick, but here's a conceptualization of that. And this is actually the way nothing has changed here, but this is where the STEM space could be or would be. And so we're going to move the current STEM spaces out from kind of the bottom of the building up to the front where people can pull in and see students working and things like that in the STEM spaces. So that'll be a centerpiece for the December vote, along with many other things. So planning with a purpose, this plan may help our district to reduce duplications of programs. We do have classes at our junior high school that we repeat in 10th grade at CNS, so therefore we're eliminating that particular need. We're going to use our staff more wisely and efficiently. Again, it's about, for us, the sustainability of our programs. And if we can do that in a way where we're still offering the same programs, but at the same time being more sustainable, that's what we're going to take advantage of. Separate our elementary and secondary planning needs. That's something that, again, will help, again, with the sustainability piece. We're going to improve transportation efficiency over time. So currently we do things like, for example, we transport athletes to and from after school because they're not at the right site, for example, right? So we can really almost eliminate those needs simply because the students would be in the buildings that they would be practicing at, for example. That's just an example. And we're going to make a stronger use of existing facilities before adding new costs. So we're going to look at CNS's current spaces and the things that we can modify. We will modify to make it more comfortable. So by the time 9th grade is in there, it will be more comfortable and there'll be more classroom spaces at CNS. And then we're going to align the capital project decisions with the long-term instructional needs in our district. So our True North plan does include beginning in the 27-28 school year. So nothing happens this fall. It would be next school year. CNS would become a 9 through 12 high school. The North Syracuse Junior High School will host grades 7 and 8. We would have 2 intermediate schools, Roxborough Road and Gillette Road. Both of those buildings will be grades 4 through 6. We would remain with our 6 elementary schools, but they would shift to add pre-K through 3rd grade. So that's something that would be new for us. And then we currently, in the short-term future, NSCEP will remain in its current building. But as we talk about, plans beyond 3 years, it does include NSCEP. So that's where we're at. So how do we get there? We have a lot of work to do as a school district. One of the things that I'm proud of coming here and that I've learned over the last year and a half is we have a model of shared decision-making that works for us. So we're going to continue to do that throughout next year. We're going to talk with our families and community and have different parent information sessions, orientation nights, ongoing communications. We're going to engage our staff, both at the building level as well as here in the district office with staff meetings, staff trainings, transition support. What does that look like for students? It would be school tours and visits and things like that. So as we get more toward more toward the 26-27 school year, we would have that. And of course, we would have shared decision-making committees to guide the implementation of this plan, of our True North plan. So this QR code is there for a reason. We want to create an FAQ, frequently asked questions document. So you could be the first people tonight to ask any questions for us. Please feel free to scan the QR code. It's a very short Google form. There we collect a little bit of information like what building you're from, if if you work in a building and things like that. But we really want your input and your questions to certainly get out a frequently asked questions document. So with that, I will ask the board if you have any questions or thoughts. Yes, Mr. Letton.
Yeah, if you can go back to the STEM Hub concept there. I'm just the one before, sorry. Yeah.
This one here? Yeah.
Yeah. Is this going where the library currently is on this would be on the first floor and the library would stay on the second floor? Am I understanding
That's a good question. We envision relocating the library at CNS. But we also envision right now, when you ask facilities planning, and Mr. Schuster knows this, one of the things that they ask a lot of questions if we're building out on a building. What we plan on doing is building down. So we're not actually creating any more we're maintaining the footprint, right? So that's a way for us to increase space without the facility, New York State facilities, asking us lots of questions about why you need more space or not. So that's one strategic way to do that. Good question.
Any other questions from the board?
Positive comments, negative comments. First of all, the board received this report on Friday at 4 o'clock. Mr. Herman has said to this board and to this administration, please, this isn't confidential, get it to us. I'm on another school board. I receive things 6 days ahead of time so I can study it. Weekends are for family, for whatever. So please, how many times do we have to tell the administration, please give us these reports ahead of time? Very quiet. What's positive about this? I guess my first question is, I've been talking about this at a lot of board members, is UPK in each of our schools. Are you with the amount of money that we're getting this year from the state, we're getting a lot of money. And the governor just said in her budget that this will be universal. Is this going to be in all our schools, UPK? And are we going to include all the kids that could be in UPK?
Yeah, I think the plan for us is to start small. We want a UPK classroom in every building. That is true. And so for us, it's trying to grow that so that, you know, once we have, let's say 550, 600 kids in a cohort, our goal is to grow it so much that we have the majority of our students as 4-year-olds. So that is true.
Very much, because you need to do it. I know Jamesville DeWitt is doing, putting UPK in. I like to jump right up on this table. 9th grade at the high school, but I am so excited. I wish it could happen next year. We've been wanting this in this district for 40-some years. And Matt was going to school at the time. I was here in 1983 when we went from a wonderful school district, K through 5, 6, 8, 9, 12, over 10,000 students, high test scores. We were known all over the state. And then in 1983, we made the changes that we did because of enrollment and because we wanted one high school. And you've seen what's happened in the school district. I have to tell you that. My other thing that you mentioned, Dr. Warden, I guess I'm mystified that the committees came up with this idea. I believe the committee came up with 4 different ideas. Am I correct?
Yeah, it was actually more than 4. In the report, there were about 10 different
Right,
versions.
but then they whittled it down, and it wasn't the committee, it was the consultants, because they said, we're going to give the final presentation, and it was 4 options. 4 options. And then the board met in a very quick meeting with about 4 people from the public, and the board agreed that this was the plan. So be careful with words, because it was not the utilization committee that came up with this idea. I don't want that going out in the community. About the STEM hub, is that going to be science, math? What is that going to be?
Yep, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, yeah.
Okay. You're going to, in my estimation, you're going to build this big hub, and you're not going to have the students because of the scheduling that we have at the high school. There are 7 kids in the Micron program. 7. Because kids cannot take subjects because they have to take this and this and this. Going to have to look at different kind of scheduling. You can't do 4 blocks or 8 blocks in order to have students take the kind of sciences that you want and the kind of maths you want to do. So just something that you need to look at. I guess that's all I want to say. I am disappointed as an elementary teacher. I'm not thrilled with K3. And if you study some of the other school districts that just went to K2 or whatever, they have a lot of problems. My other concern is the empty classrooms you're going to have in 2 years. When you put just K2, let's take Allen Road. They have about 320 kids. So you're going to take away about 60. They're going to be in the 200. Take Lakeshore. They're just over 400. You're going to take away more than that, and they're going to be in 300 of a building we just renovated that could fit 400, 500 kids. So I'm concerned of all these empty classrooms that we're going to have for a year. And yes, we can have a science room, and yes, we can have a tech room, but for classrooms. So there's a lot of things that this board and this administration needs to look at. And I'm going to be concerned about the referendum. I'll talk a little bit more about that, about the budget. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Crabtree.
I just wanted to ask for a clarification because I understand where you're coming from, where Mr. Crabtree is coming from on this, but wouldn't a STEM area be able to provide and there would be courses that we currently offered that would be taking advantage of the new facilities that would be in there, right? I just want to, like electives and things of that nature that
Correct.
we would be using it for instructional time. This isn't something on top of it.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that that was clear.
Any other thoughts?
Yeah, I have a different recollection, so I want to see who else remembers. We had a forum in the room across the hall. Most of the board, we had administration, we had students. Public was invited. So isn't that where we went around the whole room? And I believe overwhelmingly, there were two choices. They had 9 through 12 at the high school, but this one here was the one that I recall overwhelmingly being chosen. That's what I recall? Well, the utilization, we had the utilization study, but I see what you're saying there. You're correct, but
But I do believe that what Dr. Ward had said was that this was one of the options that was
No, it
given
was,
to
but-
us by the utilization committee.
brought to us, but
Right.
it was overwhelmingly this
Right.
option at
No,
the
but
meeting.
yeah,
That's what my
No,
point is.
I'm agreeing with you. I just
Okay.
know that what he had said earlier was that it was brought up by the utilization committee, which is the truth.
Okay.
Carol, can you clarify? I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, but this was the utilization studies preferred.
This was the utilization committee's preferred plan. There were two plans that came up. The utilization committee voted on it, and we did it by a blind ballot so that no one could try to persuade someone else into their use. And this was the plan that they came up with. There also were, I believe there were 2 or 3 students on the committee every time we met. There ended up being like 10 plans and we brought it down to 4 and then we brought it down to the last 2. We came up with this plan as well. So there were two plans, but this one was the one that overall received the votes from the utilization
study
committee.
had numerous plans, but when the utilization study recommended them to the administration, this was correct. But when they voted on which one they all preferred as a utilization committee, that's what Cheryl's saying. That this was the one that the committee blind voted preferred moved forward.
Mr. Marzio, if I may. I just would like to say, I believe, if I remember correctly, the plan from the beginning of this utilization study, which on the timeline there was in May of 2025, if I remember correctly, the conversation that we had with the consultants sitting right here was that the utilization committee was going to end up with a couple of choices that we as the board were going to work with the community to make a decision on. That is what I remember being the case the entire time from when we began this conversation. And I'm not sure why now we're having a conversation that's changing what was talked about. But from the beginning, I remember when Deb Ayers was sitting right there and told us that. And I want to make sure I'm correct and I'm not remembering that incorrectly. Thank you.
The one variation you did see this evening, and I want to be clear about that, is pre-K. That was not in the utilization particular piece, partly because the funding source for pre-K has changed since the utilization report. So it used to be $6,000 a student that New York State gave for pre-K, and now it's $10,000 a student that the pre-K funding is there for. So that was something that I just wanted to bring to your attention, is that the pre-K through 3 building, we had pre-K in there, but they weren't ever going to be our own teachers in our own program. And what we're talking about is having our own teachers in own program. That's because, again, the funding source had changed. That's all.
That I didn't talk about, and that's Main Street. That committee and everybody on this board, including the president, said Main Street needs to be, those students to be getting out. That school, in my estimation, this board needs to take a field trip. Those kids should not be in that school one more day. Now we're going to wait 2 years, possibly 3, to move those kids. Yes, the 9th grade, that's great. I am so upset about that, that Main Street, everybody agreed that that is not the kind of school those kids should be in. It's 2 floors. Be over there during a fire drill. I was. It's something could happen. So I'm very upset about that too. Thank you.
So thank you. We have a lot of work to do as a facilities committee to take those things into consideration and prioritize and things like that. So that's something that we're ready to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ward. Okay, we'll move into comments from the audience this evening. We do have one speaker. Danielle Hudson would like to comment on the positive impact of our unified sports program. Welcome. Come up, or we can give you a microphone so you don't have to.
Opportunity to speak tonight in front of you. I stand or sit here as a parent of 3 kids in our district. When we think about schools, we often focus on academic scores, expectations, and preparing students for the future. And those things absolutely matter. But if there's one thing I've learned as a parent and a former teacher, it's that before students can truly succeed, they need something even more fundamental. They need to feel like they belong. Over the last 4 years, our school culture at CNS High School has changed, in my view. As academic pressures increase and students have had to navigate maturity expectations and the many pressures that come with growing up at the high school level, I found myself worried. I wondered what high school would look like for my children with disabilities. I worried whether there would be a genuine sense of belonging waiting for them. I know that other families found themselves in similar anxious places. Because if we're being honest, creating connection in elementary school often feels easier. Young children haven't yet learned to focus on differences. They don't see labels, they don't see barriers, they simply see a kind soul, a beautiful heart, and they reflect that kindness back. They become leaders naturally because inclusion feels effortless. The challenge is sustaining that same spirit as students grow older. And that is why the Unified program is truly extraordinary. What makes Unified so special is that it does not simply recognize inclusion. It does not stop at celebrating it during an event or acknowledging it with a poster on the wall or a designated week. This program lives it. It embraces it. It advocates for it every single day. Unified and its founders, leaders have created something much larger than activities. Through bowling, clubs, basketball, friendships, and shared experiences, is it built an environment where students genuinely connect with one another. Relationships become authentic. Leadership becomes meaningful. Students are not just participating alongside each other, they are creating a community together. I can tell you personally that 2 out of my 3 children have had the privilege of being part of this at the foundational level. I've had the opportunity to witness firsthand the significant impact it has had, not only on students participating directly, but on the culture of the entire school community. And that doesn't happen by accident. The leadership behind this program has been extraordinary. The creativity, the planning, the passion, the countless hours, the devotion, it is truly remarkable. What has been created here deserves recognition and praise because this program has done far more than organize events and activities. It has changed our school and truly some of our students' lives. It is a privilege to watch shy, quiet sophomores turn into fierce and devoted advocates, protectors on the court and lane, and most importantly, become like family to the players involved with the Unified program as they finish their senior year. Many of these amazing partners go on to college and they do specialize somehow in human services, whether that's a special ed teacher, a therapist, service provider, social worker. How amazing is the concept of our own school community inspiring this next generation of leaders and teachers? Pretty incredible. Unified has created belonging where there could have been isolation. It has built unity where there could have been division, and it has reminded all of us what education is truly about, not preparing students just for life, but but showing them how to care for one another while they're living it. We leave here tonight hoping that all of you, as our school board, as a parent representative, will recognize the profound impact this leadership and this program has had for our school, our community, and for our lives. Our children are better because of the ability to participate in our unified program. Our hope is twofold, that the two staff devoted to this vision are recognized and honored, and also that this program continues to flourish, grow, and be as innovative as the leaders have done thus so far.
Thank you very much. All right, we'll move into our Board of Education Committee reports. Mr. Thorne, anything from you?
Thank you. Our final policy committee of the year will be held a week from tomorrow at 5 o'clock here at the district offices.
Thank you. Mr. Crabtree. Then you can move right in.
We finally have a state budget, and I will send parts of it to the legislative committee and the school board. Our next meeting will be at Twin Trees at 4 o'clock this Wednesday. You're not invited, Mr. Schuster. You're not on the committee. And I would ask Matt and Josh and Paul to think of some ideas for next year. What are we going to look at? I'm thinking Micron's probably definitely going to be one of them. So think of some topics that we can put on the agenda, you know, like we put Tier 6 on, and I'm hearing that's been very successful. So think of some things that we'd like to talk about. First of all, for OCM BOCES, I passed around to tell you events that will include our students, grades 9 through 12. We just had a Olympics in Cortland. As you know, the BOCES schools are Cincinnati and Marathon. It's too much of a ride to come to CNS. It's an hour here, an hour back. So they have their own Olympiad, and it was held at SUNY Cortland in the stadium. So it was wonderful. Schools for Success. Thank you, Dr. Barodi and Dr. Ward, for attending, because we had a student to get an award from North Syracuse, and these are people in our culinary. Happened to be that was Liverpool. Sorry, the student that was in automobile or welding or whatever. It's a special award. We had National Honor Society induction at both our innovation schools, Seven Valleys New Tech and Innovation Tech. And then you see all the other activities that are going to happen at just the Syracuse area. Thank you.
All right, Dr. Ward.
I just wanted to share a couple of quick additional things this evening. First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Barodi and Mr. Crabtree for a wonderful retiree ceremony that we all just came from. And thank you to everyone who spoke this evening. I thought it was a wonderful event. The other piece I just wanted to mention, we did host an OSIDA board, OSIDA meeting at our junior high school last week. It was great to be able to talk to OSIDA members, for them to get to understand, and Don did a great job, to get to understand how the impacts of Micron and a pilot, you know, the non-intentional negative consequences for a school district when it comes to pilots. And so that's something that they listened. They said, you know what, you're right, Don and Terry, that's right. We should exclude that from the tax cap, things like that. So the good news is everyone that Mr. Keegan and I talk about think it's all a great idea to exclude it from the tax cap. But we have to get the county to talk to the state and everybody in between. And that's our job, is to really get everyone to communicate on that particular issue. So as far as legislative topics, that is definitely one of them for us. So just wanted to highlight that, but thank you.
Do we have any board comments? Paul?
Just on two things I heard, and on that topic, Dr. Ward, and where is he? Mr. Keegan. Oh. Just that NSBA has been lobbying for that, for changes as well as NICED in the tax cap. And specifically the use of the pilot in the tax cap calculation. This is the first time I've seen some real recognition because you got through to Assemblyman Sturpey and Senator Ryan. So I really want to commend you for that action now. And just on the presentation we just saw on the unified program, I just moved to say I went a couple months ago to Unified Bowling, wandered in there, and what I saw was exactly what she was talking about. I witnessed it. I saw students, I saw kids having fun and supporting each other. I think it's probably, in my opinion, nobody likes to listen to. It might be the most important extracurricular activity we have. So, and most impactful, especially something that we need right now. So just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, I have a couple of comments. The first thing I wanted to say was many of you know my brother's still in the district here, and I wandered over to Clinton Square there where everybody was taking pictures for senior ball the other day, and it was very fun to see all of the great outfits and things that people were wearing. There was a gentleman wearing red shoes that was kind of the highlight of the show. I'm sure there's pictures of him somewhere. I wanted to also highlight Tier 6. This is something that Paula and I have been talking about for for quite a bit of the past year and a half or so. And I just want to, thank the governor, the state legislature for making some very fundamental changes that were much needed. Things that are going to make it much more attractive for people to stay in the public sector, not even just in education, but in anything in the public service here in New York State. And lastly, I also wanted to talk about the OSIDA meeting, and I was able to attend, albeit not for the whole time. I want to say thank you to Dr. Ward and Mr. Keegan for making that happen. I also want to thank Chairwoman Nicole Watts and the chair of the Economic Planning and Development Board, Legislator Elaine Denton. And I got to speak to some of them afterwards at another event that we were both at. And Chairwoman Nicole Watts had a lot of great questions and was asking for clarification and understanding on a lot of things, which to me showed me that, one, there was interest, and two, there's an attempt or a push to try to make things better. So I want to, thank the county legislators that are taking the time to take our concerns seriously.
Other board comments?
I want to thank personally the taxpayers, and thank you from Dr. Ward for saying this earlier, for such a successful budget vote. But I do have some concerns. I know our district clerk has done a demographic thing, and when you see who voted and who didn't, it makes me a little nervous, and I think we need, as a board and as administration, to look at this before we have a referendum. The other thing was, I filled out the survey that you could go online. We can do better on that. It only asked how I found out about the vote and all that. That was easy. We need to have something, especially with the lowest positive vote in 10 years in this district, why people voted the way. I wish we had done that because it would help us for the referendum. It was interesting. Majority of people, and I'm talking majority, were 60 and older, not parents of students. So we need to look at the demographics. And then we had a wonderful lady tonight, two ladies give a wonderful report on their trip across seas. And that young lady was Teacher of the Year and of the district and of the state of New York. We haven't done it for 2 years. Many of us worked hard when Dr. O'Rourke was here to bring that back. So I'd like the administrations to look into that. We need to have a little competition. There's nothing wrong. All the teachers in this district are phenomenal, but there are some that go way beyond. So I would ask you. Now, Rich, I'm not going to talk about any of your stuff, I hope. All right, things are happening. Kristen, at the high school, the senior art, I don't think you're going to talk about that. Senior art exhibition was phenomenal. We have some really professional students at your school that do student art. That's an awesome thing that you do. I had the opportunity just to walk across the street and go to the Allen Road Carnival, and Eustace grandchild goes to that school, and that class did the lemonade stand, and at 5 years old, they were giving out lemonade. Also, I had a chance to go to the CNS band and orchestra concert, and then, of course, the final concert. Kristen will tell you that's quite a high honor at the high school, because they all play one song, and it was "Let There Be Peace on Earth." When you hear the orchestra and the band and the chorus singing that in our new auditorium, it really brought chills to me. And then they appreciated so many wonderful teachers that they have had. And with that, I think Bridget's got a lot of other stuff. But one last thing, I won't be here at the next meeting. I don't know why the board decided to have the next meeting 3 weeks from now, but I want to thank Bridget Gill. I have a little something for you. Thank you for being part of this group. I know they're going to do something next in 3 weeks, but I won't be here. You have been really an inspiration to me as a board member to listen to student values, student concerns. This is the 3rd year that we've done it. The governor, now we did it before the governor came through, but I remember, Dr. Ward does too, when we had a forum at the junior high with the governor of New York State. You were the highlight. I mean this, the highlight of the meeting. I know the teachers were there. I know our administrators were there. And at the end, who did the press want to interview? Bridget Gill, because Bridget Gill has some great ideas. So I'm going to leave you there, but something else just came to my head. And I don't know. I'd like to know how the cell phone thing worked out. Can we do a little research on that for another meeting? I know I'd just like to know. Thank you. Thank you, Bridget, for everything.
Bridget, the floor is yours.
Our CNS girls softball team won sectionals for the first time in 5 years. And yeah, it was amazing. And the whole team came into senior ball because they had it on senior ball night. They all came in and everyone cheered, and it was a great moment, and it really made everyone's night. Everyone was so excited. Senior ball was great. Everyone had a great time as usual. It's at the Hotel Syracuse, so great time. We had Special Olympics. It was a great day. It was sunny. I got to be a mascot, which was very nice. But everyone had a really good time. We had a great announcer. All the kids were having so much fun. They got little tattoos and decoration. Like, it was just wonderful. And our girls lacrosse team is going to the sectional final Tuesday, I guess, against West Jenny. And we have a really good team this year. So good luck to those girls. Thank you.
Moving to routine action items. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes from May 12th? Paul, second from Mark. Any questions or comments on that? All those in favor? That's unanimous. And do I have a motion to place B and C together, the consideration of classification and placement for students? Mandy and Josh, any questions? All those in favor? Discussion action items, the establishment of the annual organizational meeting date, which will be July 13th, 2026 at 5 p.m. here at the DO. Do I have a motion to establish that meeting date? Paul, Cheryl, any questions? No.
I think it's through the end of July. I'm pretty sure it's through the end of July. Yeah. But I do think it's going to go until the 31st or 30th.
All those in favor? That's unanimous. Next is the resolution for the approval of the vehicle bonding. This is because our vehicle bonding proposition passed. It is a roll call vote. So do I have a motion to place this before us? Josh and Mark. Joe? Yes?
I,
Aye.
Thank you. Next, we have the creation and abolishment of positions. Do I have a motion to approve the resolution for those positions listed? Mike, any questions? Those in favor? Next, we have a memorandum of agreement between the North Syracuse Central School District, the North Syracuse Academic Directors Association, and the North Syracuse Education Association. Do I have a motion to approve that MO? Carol and Josh, any questions? Those in favor? Next, we have a resolution for a tax certiorari matter for an improvement of a settlement with AutoZone. Do I have a motion to that settlement?
The folks at home, can we?
Broad terms, the AutoZone contested their assessment, and we were able to settle that assessment. Our attorneys represented us, and they were able to settle the assessed value at a value that basically was not quite what AutoZone was looking for, but results in the school district reducing our tax on property.
Thank you. Thank you.
Do I have a motion for that? Andy and Mark, any questions? All those in favor? Next two gifts and take them together. The first gift this evening is Cicero Elementary School earned a prize of $1,000 through participation in the New York State Education Department First in Math Virtual Regional Competition on March 19th. Suntex International awarded $1,000 for Cicero Elementary School. And second, Micron has partnered with our district to host Chip Camp again, a hands-on program designed for students in the world of semiconductor manufacturing, engineering, and technology. And they are contributing $30,000, which is 100% of the funding necessary to have the Chip Camp here, having no cost to the district or families participating. So do I have a motion to accept those two gifts with gratitude? Matt and Mike, questions? That's unanimous, and we thank you. Next is to approve the annual OCM BOCES equivalent of attendance, employment, preparation, education, adult education, sponsorship agreement, authorized signatures, and annual cooperative bidding resolution notification agreement. I have a motion to approve those. Carol, any questions? Those in favor? Going to abstain? Next is a request to approve the agreement with OCM BOCES in the North Syracuse Central School District for EdIPEP. The EdIPEP program. Do I have a motion to approve that agreement? Mark and Paul, any questions? All those in favor? And I will. And before we move into personnel reports, just a couple of retirements to mention. We have Bridget Glasser, a food service helper 1, is retiring with 3 years of service. Greta Johnson, a cook 1, is retiring with 36 years of service. And Alicia Rausa, a reading teacher, is retiring with 11.4 years of service. So as always, we wish you all a long, happy, and healthy retirement, and thank you for your commitment to the district community and our students. We need an executive session before we take personnel reports. I have a motion to accept personnel report A as submitted. Paul and Mark, any questions?
I want to thank, first of all, Dr. Barodi. I guess I should have done this before. In the Syracuse newspaper, I'm an old man. I read it. Morning. I like the article. He put down the jobs that we have, but he put in there of previous in-service instruction. Now, if If I was out there, I might jump on it, but thank. Well, you work as a team, right? You work, now, this one's for you though, this next question. We usually get, when we have somebody that's probationary, we get a really long thing underneath. In other words, it has your name, active board, it's a legal thing, and so the reason is, I see we have a teacher that only needs 3 years for tenure, so obviously they're coming from another school district. I like to know, I always like to know what school district. I don't have to know now, but next paragraph that goes with probationary teachers. Thank you.
So, I think we got a motion for that, right? All those in favor? Unanimous. Oh, you're gonna abstain, one abstention with Mandy. Do I have a motion to accept personnel support staff B as submitted? Cheryl and Paul, any questions? Favor? Unanimous? At this time, I'll make a motion for an executive session for one personnel matter with no action,
More than one.
personnel matters with no action to follow. Do I have a second? Josh, all those in favor? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.